Good morning, children. How are you all? So, here I am, your Radhika teacher at Dr. Bison School, teaching you all biology. So, hope all of you are enjoying the videos that we have been seeing, sending to you all. So, as part of that, we have already started studying the microorganisms, story of microorganisms too. So, in the previous video, I had explained about the uses and we had carried out certain activities, how the yeast can help in fermentation and make our food really fluffy and tasty, isn't it? So in that video I had shown that this is added to the maida to prepare the breads or buns and other things. So it is a very important ingredient in the baking industry. Okay, apart from that, we had also seen how the yeast is used to prepare alcohol on a commercial basis. Commercial basis means what? To sell the alcohol. Okay, so on a large scale it can be prepared using the yeast, and this yeast is used in preparing alcohol from what did I tell? Yes, it can be used preparing from molasses from the sugar cane industry, that is from the sugar. Okay, similarly it can also be used to prepare from rice or wheat or barley, or it could be different fruits like the grapes. We get wine, isn't it? That wine is nothing but alcohol that is obtained from the grape juice. So like this, different fruit juices also can be used. And why they all can be used, I told, because they all contain sufficient amount of carbohydrate or the sugar. As they contain more amount of carbohydrate or sugar, they can, from that the yeast is able to produce alcohol. Okay children, that's what we had seen. Now apart from that, we would be seeing further about the medicinal use, and in the previous video, last part also, I told about the antibiotics, isn't it? One of the medicinal use of this is for the preparation of antibiotics. Preparation of antibiotics. So today I am going to tell about antibiotics only. What are these antibiotics and how they are useful? Okay, how the antibiotics are useful to us. See, nowadays, if at all you are ill, you are suffering from cold or fever, or you have been injured, or you have got typhoid or some disease you are suffering from, or you could be suffering from jaundice or anything. So immediately what happens? You go to the doctor. As you go to the doctor, he diagnoses that, say you are suffering from typhoid. So according to that, he would be prescribing some medicines. Among them, if you observe carefully, there would be an antibiotic. So what is this antibiotic? In the previous video, I had told about the story of discovery of antibiotics, isn't it? Who discovered them or who invented them? So, who is that person who has done that? That is nothing, no one else other than Alexander Fleming. Okay, he was Alexander Fleming, who was an army doctor. Okay, he was working during the First World War. He was an army doctor who was working during the First World War, that is between 1914 to 1919. Between that period, he had been working, trying to find out different types of medicines so that the soldiers could be cured from those infections that they were getting regularly. They were getting wounded in the war, isn't it? So, due for these wounds, they wanted some medicine so that they could be relieved. Or else, what happens? That wounds remain for a long period of time, and many soldiers used to die. See, nowadays we have got so many medicines, so it is already 100 years old thing, isn't it? So at that time, these were not available. So this person, this doctor, had done lot of work to find out any such medicine. So during that part only, he was growing the bacteria in the petri dish. So here in the textbook you have got, here I don't have the petri dish, so I can show in the textbook. You all can see here. See, can you all see here? See the center one. Okay, so this is the petri dish, a glass plate like thing. Okay, so in that he was growing the bacteria. But sorry, again there is a power cut, children. We shall be continuing again. So children, actually there was a little power break, power cut. So I had to stop in between. So here we are going to start again. So what I was explaining, had been explaining about the antibiotics, isn't it? So how the antibiotics, it's not preparation of antibiotics, but here actually it is the preparation of antibiotics is from the microorganisms. So there are many microorganisms which help in the preparation of antibiotics, from which we can actually prepare the antibiotics. For this, in the previous video I had been explaining about Alexander Fleming's work, isn't it? So he was an English doctor, okay, who worked during the World War One. Okay, so Alexander Fleming. Alexander Fleming. Okay, he was working during the World War. He was a doctor working during the World War. Okay, so what he did, he was growing the bacteria. So he had taken a petri dish. So it is nothing but a plate. Okay, a flat glass plate in which we can grow the microorganisms. We can grow any microorganisms. Okay, so this is carried out in the laboratory. So as you grow older, you would be observing. You could also be using one such things. Okay, as you take up biology, you could be seeing that you are using such things. So here he had a petri dish in which he was growing the bacteria. Okay, so in that he had seen that certain places the bacteria was not growing. Okay, he had been growing the colonies of bacteria. So if we provide any nutrients, okay, so if we provide any nutrients, that is the food for the bacteria. So if at all we provide that, then the bacteria can be grown. Why this is grown? This is grown to carry out the experiments. Okay, to find out that certain certain chemicals, whether it grows or not, all that we can test. So like this, the scientists find out whether the bacteria can be controlled. Okay, so as he had been growing, he saw that in certain places the bacteria was not able to grow. Okay, so here this is the, I can say that these are the bacterial colonies in which he was growing, bacterial colonies. Okay, this is the petri dish in which he was growing. So okay, so now what happened? He saw that certain places, see all this region, there is no bacteria. The bacteria was not able to grow in that region. So then what he did? He carefully observed. Okay, he saw that some places bacteria was not growing. Bacteria was not growing. Okay, so he had a doubt. Why? Why it is not growing there? So he observed that it could be because of the thing that is there. So he observed. Then what he did? He observed carefully. He observed that part carefully. Okay, so when he observed, he found that in that part a particular type of fungus was growing. Okay, he observed that in that part a fungus was growing. Fungus was growing. What is that fungus? Commonly, what do we call? Mold, isn't it? We call that as the mold. He saw that a particular fungus, that is the mold, was growing. So what he observed, he saw that it is called Penicillium notatum. That fungus was called Penicillium, okay, notatum. Penicillium notatum. This is the scientific name of that fungus. He saw that it is growing. Okay, so he thought that okay, so this is preventing the growth of these bacterial colonies. It is stopping them from growing. So he had an idea. So why don't I use this one only as a medicine for the bacterial infections? So people were getting the bacterial infections, isn't it? Especially the soldiers were getting lot of infections due to the bacteria. So he thought that he could be using this one. So for that, what he did, he extracted he extracted a substance from that is called as penicillin. He extracted penicillin. Okay, so this is the first antibiotic. So this is the first antibiotic. Okay, children. So this is the first antibiotic which he prepared. So Alexander Fleming prepared the first antibiotic, and that is nothing but penicillin. Okay. So like this, the antibiotic was given. As this was given to the people, they observed that this cured many bacterial infections. Okay, penicillin prevented many bacterial infections. So what they did after that, the scientists started growing many such antibiotics. They started testing for many such fungi. Okay, or many, it could be any other microorganism. So what is that? Anti means against, biotic is anything living. So here we see that the fungi, the penicillin is preventing the growth of bacteria. This is also living, this is also living, but this is preventing the growth of bacteria. That is why the antibiotic was, that's how the antibiotic was prepared. Understood, children? So now we have got so many, after that so many other antibiotics have come up. Okay, so there are so many antibiotics now, like streptomycin, erythromycin, amoxicillin. Okay, then we have got tetracycline. Okay, a list of okay, there are thousands and thousands of antibiotics which we are using nowadays. Okay, so these can prevent the diseases in the plants and animals also, not only in human beings but also in the plants and animals. They can cure, not prevent, sorry, but they can cure the diseases if they are taken. If at all a person or an animal or a plant is suffering from any such infection, they can be cured. Okay, it works against the bacterial infections, against the some of the fungal infections. Okay, so like this they are preventing. Understood, children? But as I told, the bacteria, the antibiotics must not be taken without taking the advice from a doctor. Okay, why I am telling this? Because it's a common practice in India by many of us. We go to the medical shop and just tell the symptoms and purchase any antibiotic, or simply we tell, okay, give me tetracycline or give me this one, chloromycin, or any such this one antibiotic I would like to take. Give me erythromycin, and we take it for 2 days and stop. Should we do that? We should never do like that. Okay, we should take the advice from the doctor, because the antibiotics vary. There is a lot of difference between different antibiotics depending upon the bacteria, what type of bacteria or what type of microorganism that is infecting us. Depending on that, they give the antibiotic. On that particular one, the antibiotic would be working very nicely. So if we take simply any antibiotic, so that could be doing a harm in affecting our WBC, in our blood cells. The beginning yesterday or in the previous video I had told that the virus or the HIV affects our WBCs, isn't it? The white blood cells. And these white blood cells are actually fighting against any disease that we get. Okay, unknowingly, there are thousands and thousands of microorganisms which are entering into our body every day. Okay, we think that nothing is entering, we are fine, absolutely fine, we are safe. Okay, but okay, in the air, in the water, in the things we touch, there are thousands of microorganisms and they would be continuously entering into our body. So, against these microorganisms, our WBCs are always fighting. They are the frontline soldiers. I would call that the WBCs are the frontline soldiers. As any microorganism enters, they are the first ones to attack them. Okay, they are the first ones to attack them, kill them. So like this, they are always fighting. So if at all we take any antibiotic which may not be very good, okay, which may not be like if we take excess or if we take less, then what happens? It will affect these WBCs. That is one thing. And second thing is that unnecessarily we take more antibiotics. Then what happens? There are naturally many bacteria present in our body. Many microorganisms, especially the bacteria, are present in our body, in the digestive system. Okay, which are very, very, very useful to our body. Okay, they must be there in our body. They don't cause any harm to us. So such useful microorganisms which are there in our body would be killed. Okay, they would be killed. So it will cause the digestive system problems. That is the reason we should unnecessarily. And second thing is that they will kill these useful microorganisms. And second thing is that the bacteria or the microorganisms that are causing the disease in us, say something is there already, typhoid, I am suffering from typhoid, that bacteria that is there or pneumonial bacteria is there in our body, in my body, unnecessarily I am taking a very strong antibiotic, then what happens? Regularly if I take, this one becomes resistant. That means what? This bacteria that is affecting me will not be affected by that antibiotic. Okay, it will not be affected by that antibiotic. Then what happens? Then we have to think about a still stronger antibiotic. So it is really difficult, and our body will not have the natural immunity. Natural immunity means the general tendency. I told no, the WBCs are the frontline soldiers which are fighting. So that will be lost as we are taking, simply whenever something is there, we want to take an antibiotic. So our body will lose the natural immunity, and very frequently we will be getting more and more diseases. Understood, children? So we should never unnecessarily take antibiotics. That is, we should not take in more dose and we should not take in less dose. Okay, even if we take less dose, the doctor has given for 4 days or he may give for 6 days. Okay, a course of antibiotics he has given. He asks you to have it once in a day. Taken the antibiotic, after that, okay, you are perfectly fine. So there is no need of taking that medicine. It doesn't work like that, because what happens after that, that bacteria or the microorganism may remain in the body, and later it can again cause the disease. So we should never use it in a, we should always use it in a correct way. Okay, in a proper way if we use, then we don't get the diseases and we are cured. So among them, as I told about this, because of this he got the Nobel Prize in 1929. So he got the Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize for Medicine he got in 1929. Along with that, he also got other scientists who worked with him. Okay, and those scientists' names are Howard Florey and Dr. Ernst B. Chain. Okay, Dr. Howard Florey and Dr. Ernst B. Chain. So these doctors got the medicine. Sorry, they got the Nobel Prize. Okay, children, for preparing for discovery of this antibiotic in Penicillium notatum, or he prepared the first antibiotic. Okay, so next, after that I shall be reading this one. Two, do you know boxer? They're both I'm going to read. First one I already explained. That is, we must use antibiotics prescribed by a qualified doctor, a doctor who is really qualified. That means he has done his medicine. Then, if you use antibiotics without consulting a qualified doctor, it may harm you. Unnecessary use of antibiotics affects blood cells which fight infections. Sometimes they may kill useful bacteria too in our intestine, and this increases the resistance towards antibiotics. Excess use of antibiotics weakens our body. Okay, so that is one way. And the next one we shall see about another scientist who is an Indian scientist, okay, an Indian doctor who has also discovered the antibiotic tetracycline or aureomycin. Okay, Dr. Yella Pragada Subbarao. He was born in West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh state, India. He discovered aureomycin, that is tetracycline. Another name for that is tetracycline, and it is very, very, very important, which cures number of bacterial diseases like typhoid, plague, tuberculosis. What are these? Plague, typhoid and tuberculosis. So he is very much known for his work to cure us from these diseases. So I just write about Yella Pragada Subbarao. So all of you first note down, then I'll go to the next part. Okay, so I just rub it off. Who is the other doctor? Other doctor who has done the work is, about whom we should know, is Dr. Yellapragada Subbarao. Here also Dr. Alexander Fleming. Similarly, Dr. Yellapragada. Okay. What he has done, Yellapragada Subbarao? He has found out, discovered which antibiotic? Aureomycin or, and the name for that is or tetracycline or tetracycline. Okay, so these two cures. What disease it cures? Typhoid. Commonly it can be used for typhoid. Okay, plague and tuberculosis. Okay, typhoid, plague and tuberculosis. Okay, children. So that's how we have seen about the antibiotics. So now this so many antibiotics I have told, no. Then do you get a doubt that why we cannot use it for the virus? Yes. Did anyone of you get the doubt? Why we cannot use it? Everyone is suffering so much from this pandemic, that is the viral infection of corona or the COVID-19. So why we don't make an antibiotic and just get cured from that? Why? Because the antibiotics do not work against the virus. And why they don't work against the virus? One very, very important thing. See, what is the action of the antibiotic? I told that the antibiotic is curing is from the disease. So, if at all a person is getting an antibiotic, say penicillin, so he is suffering from a disease caused by bacteria typhoid. So, in that, what this penicillin would go and do? It will go and stop the formation of cell wall of the bacteria. Okay, so the bacterial cell is also just like the plant cell, but it is very, very, very simple than the plant cell, not so complicated. But it also has got a cell wall. Okay, the bacterial cell also has got a cell wall. The fungal cell also has got a cell wall. Only the animal cells don't have a cell wall. Like all the protozoans and all higher animals don't have a cell wall. But rest of the cells like the bacteria, fungi, algae and all the other plants, higher plants have the cell wall. Okay, so this cell wall is made up of certain substances, certain carbohydrate substances. Okay, so what the penicillin will go and do, the bacteria is there. So what it will do, it will go and does not allow the formation of the wall around the bacteria. Okay, if it is a fungus also, against that fungus, it will stop the formation of cell wall. If the cell wall is not there, can the cell live? No, it cannot live, isn't it? So even the bacterial cell cannot live because the cell wall is not formed. So like that, whatever bacteria are there, they are all killed by, they are not allowed to grow further as their cell wall is not formed. Okay, so like that the antibiotics work. But now yesterday I have explained, or in the previous videos I have explained, does the virus have a cell wall? Yes, no cell wall, no cell or no cell wall. What it has got only the protein coat, inside that only the genetic material. As these two things only are there in a virus, the antibiotics are not able to work against it. Okay, see, the simplest disease that we get from the virus is the common cold, isn't it? We get common cold immediately when we go to the doctor and we take, or simply we go and purchase some antibiotic for that cold. Actually, the antibiotic would not be working against the virus. We are thinking that only that common cold is there. At that time, we are also suffering from many bacterial infections. Okay, so when we say common cold, it is not merely the viral infection but also some bacterial infections. So when we take an antibiotic for the cold, it would be curing all those infections, but actually the viral infection that is causing cold will not be affected. Okay, and it takes its own time. Same way chicken pox, isn't it? Chicken pox or polio is there. So all these things, all people are suffering from AIDS. Now we have got this corona pandemic, isn't it? So in all these, the antibiotics are not working. Then what should be done for that? How we are getting cured? How we can get cured? Curing is by taking some other medicines which can relieve us, but completely to relieve only from that, it is very difficult. It will take some time. Our naturally the body will be able to fight. Okay, so for that, what is needed? The next important thing is the vaccination. You are all hearing about the vaccinations, isn't it? The vaccines are produced, okay, that can prevent. Antibiotics, what I told, they are curing the disease. If at all a person has already got the disease, he will be cured by using the antibiotics, but the vaccines will prevent before getting we can take the vaccine, there are no chances to get the coronavirus. Okay, we are not affected by the coronavirus. The vaccine is there. Okay, so we shall be studying about another important thing, that is vaccination. So all of you have noted down this one. Okay, please note down about Ella Prakada Subbarao, then we shall continue. Okay, children. So I would like to go about the this one. What is that? Vaccination. For that, first you all have to do one work. First you all have to first write the different types of antibiotics. Here I'll write the names of some common antibiotics. Note down those antibiotics also. Then we shall be going to the this one. What is that? Vaccinations. Okay. So now is common antibiotics. You can add some more. Streptomycin. Second one is streptomycin. You have got chloromycin. You have got erythromycin. Okay, chloromycin. Okay, next one you have got erythromycin. Tetracycline I have already given. Okay, amoxicillin. There are so many types. You can write, you can make a list of your own and put it in the, show it to me. Okay, I have written some common ones. You can remember 2 to 3 of them with the spellings very nicely. Okay, children. So in this video, I have explained about the medicinal use of the microorganisms. In that we have studied about antibiotics. So you all must be thorough with this antibiotic because it is a very important topic. Okay, so you cannot leave it. So hope all of you have understood. In the next video we shall continue about vaccinations. Thank you, children.